I recreated Dua Lipa's Illusion, and while doing so, discovered some really cool music production tips and techniques that I want to share with you in this video. But first, let me play you the finished product. Well, hey there and welcome to the channel. This is Ill Factor from beatacademy.com. And the goal of this channel is really to encourage and inspire you to produce your own music. And if you're looking to grow in leveling up your music production skill set, well, I want to direct your attention over to beatacademy.com and take advantage of all the resources I have available for you there. Community, courses, coaching, it's all there. So let's go ahead and dive in and check out how I broke this track down. All right, let's start by focusing in on the drums. So here in Ableton Live, I have a drum rack loaded with a couple sounds I'm going to be using for our main foreground beat. Now, I call it the foreground beat because it's the sounds that are really accented and at the very foreground of our groove. So let's go ahead and look at the pattern. Pretty straightforward, but there's a lot of nuances that are going into this that really go a long way that I want to walk you through. So first things first is we have our kick drum here. And this drum cell actually has two kick drums that are being triggered. There's a kick drum I have here, and there's another layer of that kick drum here. I'm purposely doing that to add a specific layer of a sound that I want to highlight, but yet have more control of. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because if I just loaded up a kick drum sample, let's say this one here, there's that little knock that you can hear that's present with that kick. And rather than just, trying to accent that knock that I really like about this kick, I'd rather just use a filter set to a high pass, only letting the highs pass, and remove all that low end information. So I can really just hear that knock. And then find another kick drum that has more of that bottom end presence and lower the two together. And I can blend the volume between that here. The way I can do that is if I load a sound into the drum rack, I can simply just click on that sound and hit Command G to group that and open up the racks. And now I can go ahead and create multiple layers. And once I trigger this in the drum rack, it's going to trigger all the layers of that sound. Really cool trick, really good way to add and craft the actual instrument that you're looking for. In this case, would be the kick drum. So we've got the kick drum, and then we have a hi-hat doing a 16th note subdivision. And what I'm going to be doing there for that 16th note, here's the hi-hat here. I want to give a little bit of movement. So I'm using this plugin here called Kickstart 2. And this is essentially just sidechaining or ducking the hi-hats at a quarter note interval. So if I remove this, it's pretty stiff and straightforward. But adding this back on, you're getting that movement, that ducking going on. That's what we want because that's what's ultimately going to create a better groove with these drums. And then we have a shaker accenting. That's really helpful when you start to piece all the other elements in together. Let's bring our kick and our clap. So that's all the instruments on our drum rack. And now what I want to do is actually layer this with a couple extra loops. And I oftentimes like to do this because this is going to really help bridge the gaps. Oftentimes when you make drums, there seems to be something missing, right? Well, layers can be the ultimate source of glue with your instruments. So let's put another loop here. We've got a shaker loop. I'm also using the Kickstart plugin to add some more sidechaining to this. And we have another loop here. And I'm using an EQ to really shave the bottom end information warm this up by removing some of the high end. And instead of using the kickstart, in this case, I used the compressor to do exactly the same thing the kickstart's doing. So the reason why I'm using this is just to actually show it to you purposely for this video so that you can see if you don't have the kickstart plugin, you can also do this using your stock onboard compressor. So purposely using this so you can demonstrate how you can get the same thing using a compressor. So I have it sidechain. The source of my sidechain is coming from the drum rack, and I want it to be the kick drum. So every time the kick drum plays, the sound ducks. It's really exaggerated here. So let's go ahead and just solo the drums together. We take those 2 loops out. Really helps kind of just gel the groove a little bit. And on the drum bus itself, I'm using the drum bus plugin by Ableton Live, giving it some nice drive, crunch, and low end boost. And warming the whole drums up, I'm using a plugin by Excellent Audio called RC20. This is going to give a little bit more of that vintage feel. So, Tame Impala is the one that's producing a lot of the stuff for this new Dua Lipa record. And so he's all about that nice warm type sound, right? And so we have this plugin helping me kind of create that. So if I take this off, essentially all I'm doing is just shaving off a little bit of that high end there and giving it some more distortion and using the magnetic. I took noise is really all the way down. Real quick, we'll get back to the tutorial, but I just want to give you the heads up. If you're looking to level up your music production skill set, I want to point you over to beatacademy.com. Take advantage of all the free resources I have. The courses that walk you through music production, vocal production, mixing, mastering. It's all there ready for you to access, as well as community and coaching. I know, it's crazy. It's there. So just click the link below in the description box or visit beatacademy.com/community to get access to all these amazing resources right now. All right, let's get back to the video. And as you can see, I don't have it all the way up, just mixing it a little bit. And then using an EQ here just to carve a little bit low mids and just a little bit of compression here. Don't need to do a lot because the drums themselves sounded fine. That little bit of compression just elevate a little bit of the stuff between the kick and clap. That's what it does. It just kind of elevates them up a little bit. All right, let's head over to the keys. So I'm going to start with the piano. Here's the chords. All right, I'm using Excellent Audio's Addictive Keys, the upright front stereo patch. Sounded good, ain't broke, don't fix it. Using a little bit of compression just to kind of accent the body of the piano a little bit more. And then I'm going to layer this piano with another sound. Now, continuing with this theme of layering, right? Rather than trying to get everything from one sound, it's best that I might be able to layer that one sound with another that has the attributes and the qualities that I'm trying to get out of that one sound. What the crap am I saying? Let me show you. So I would like a little bit more low, mid, and a bit more body from the piano. Rather than trying to EQ it and compress it more and things like that, I'm going to just layer it with a Rhodes. So it's a different texture, and I like the body of the Rhodes there. So let's go ahead and combine that with the acoustic piano. We're doing a little bit of panning, so the piano is going to be a little bit to the left, the Rhodes are a little bit right, and this automatically creates this nice width with the sound, so it's giving it some much more oomph in the mix. And you can see that I'm actually sending the piano and the Rhodes to some sends here. So I've got A, B, and C and D being used. So I have a delay on my A return track. So this is set to a 16th note, just to give it a little bit of some slap back there. And then I have a reverb on return track B. That's my stock reverb, but there's a couple of things I'm doing here. I'm using an EQ before the reverb to wipe out any of that low end. I'm adding actually some dirty noise to the reverb to give it more of that vintage type of thing. And then I'm actually saturating the reverb. I'm purposely doing this to give a unique texture to the reverb. So as I'm sending multiple elements, maybe just a little bit of the drums, the piano, some of these elements here, as I'm creating dimension and space into this reverb, I'm actually also altering the texture of it by adding some of these things on there. So it gives some nice space to these sounds. And then on return track D, I have a meta flanger plugin by Waves. This is hands down probably my favorite flanger plugin. It's classic, it's old, but man, it does the job really well. Set the mix to 100, and I put this on stun for the piano, and that's what's giving it that nice swirl. And you could hear it just kind of swimming in that stereo image, so really, really cool. All right, next we have our bass part. And for the bass, I've got a couple different bass parts layered together. So let me just break this down. We've got our Moto bass by IK Multimedia. I'm going with the 70s P bass, and we have the fingered playstyle. But there is this cool little slap note that's happening, and I want to show you how I'm doing that. So here's the bass part. So I've got that one note, that D sharp 3 here. And so what I want to do is just for that one note is to go from fingered styled playing to a slap styled playing. And what I'm going to do here is identify what is the note that will allow me to change or interchange from, the different type of styles. So if I go to the control, I see finger here, C sharp 0 is that. Then I see slap, and F sharp 0 was going to trigger the slap mode. So if slap mode, that sounds pretty funny. But so what I'm going to do here is put C sharp 0 and then F sharp 0 for the notes that I want to be slapped, and then make sure to go right back down to C sharp 0 so that the remaining notes continued in the style that I want. All right, so I'm taking some low end away. It's like, why would you do that? That's the bass part. I'll show you now. And I'm really just focusing on some of that mid and high mid stuff and using an overdrive plugin to really get some grit. Kind of helps just stick out in the mix a little bit. And I'm going to layer this with a Moog bass here. So I've got the Mini 3 here by Arturia. So this is just the patch that comes out, the default patch, and I want a little bit more buzz, right? So getting this kind of like this buzzy type sound. So I'm raising the cutoff frequency up. But the key here is using the chorus effect. Once you click the advance button, turning on the chorus so that we have a nice wide sound. And the reason for that is that's what's really going to help create this nice, like just all around powerful chord progression when you hear this and the bass and the keys all layered together. So if I go ahead and do that. That Moog just does a really good job of kind of gluing things together. So that's how layering can be a really good way of doing that. Now we have the same bass part here with the wavetable set to a sine wave just to play the sub. So very clean. I set it to mono, brought the release down, and that's really just to handle all my low end energy. So now let's go over to our strings. So I'm using another Arturia plugin here, the Solina. Love this for just this purpose, having that sustained string play throughout the whole thing here. Yeah, really cool. And then towards the end, we have this arpeggiated pattern that we can kind of detect throughout the record. And it kind of had this like fake MIDI guitar sound to it. So I said, well, let's just start there. Get ourselves a MIDI guitar. So I'm using the Native Instruments stock guitar sound. And this is it right here. So I'll turn the arpeggiator off. And then I have the Ableton Live arpeggiator MIDI device on there. And we're going to set the style to up. So what we're doing is we're just drawing in the 3 notes that I want to have the interval or the arpeggiated pattern. I have it set to every 16th note, and the trick is really just nudging and playing around with the gate knob. So once I have that set in place, I'm also using the Kickstart plugin here to give that nice side chaining and ducking feel, using the filter to make it a lot warmer, and using the chorus and auto pan plugins from Ableton Live to help kind of widen up and create some of that movement as well. Also sending a little bit of this also to that flanger that we put on return track D. So let's check out everything all together. Well, hey, I hope this video was encouraging, helpful, and inspiring in any way, shape, or form. And as my gift to you for watching this video, once again, I love to send you a bunch of resources that will help you level up your music production skill set. I'm talking about courses that walk you through vocal production, mixing, mastering, producing music for specific genres, such as, indie pop, hip hop, EDM. It's all there for you to access. So go ahead and visit beatacademy.com/community or click the link below in the description box to join Beat Academy and access all these resources to help you level up, take your next step forward with your music. Be sure to like and subscribe so you can stay up to date with what's going on this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.